we're gonna cut into our posting schedule of our videos. Today's Wednesday. This video is gonna get cut together real quick
and out tomorrow.
We're here at Battleborn, and apparently we're the second people here. We full time. We're like I said, we winter camp often. We love the snow. Yeah. This holds our bikes, our kayaks, our snowboards, our everything are in here.
Yeah.
And so from my research, and I am crazy about research. Yeah. I research for months, and from what I understand, the heated batteries, because this is not a heated space, that's what we need to not have any issues.
Yeah, so if you are a cold camper and you're going to find yourself in those situations pretty often, it's going to be the best option for you. It's going to do all the work. Our normal battery, if it drops below 24 degrees, won't accept a charge. So if you get caught in one of those situations, your solar, none of that stuff's going to be taken in by the battery.
Right.
So what the heated battery is going to do is keep you above that 30-degree freezing threshold. So anytime the internal temperature of the battery, that's just going to self-heat, it's going to self-propel, continue to accept a charge, so you can just stay out there as long as your heart desires.
So I have a question about that. The battery, that obviously takes some amperage or wattage away from the battery itself. With us being fully off grid, how much power does that actually take off the battery? Because that's a big deal.
It is
being off grid.
And you know, if you're caught in a cold situation and didn't have charge going on, I wouldn't even bother flipping that switch.
Okay.
So that's your other goodie. You're not going to use a draw at all, but it's about 50 watts per cycle. Now it's going to turn on for about 10 minutes. It's going to turn off. It's going to kind of check the internal temperature of the battery. If it needs to, it's going to continue on. So every single cycle, 10-minute cycle, is going to be about 50 watts. So it does have a draw to it, but it's a lot lower than those heated blankets, you know, a lot of those other devices that you would use does. So if you are in a cold situation, you don't need to flip it on every single time. Only if you're trying to put a charge on it, because it's still going to get you that nice low discharge of -4. And if it's -4, everybody's getting a little chilly.
Oh yeah. So we have solar is going to be completely covering the top. Yeah, so it's going to always have an input.
Yeah.
Is that switch manual, or is that a switch that I can do on my phone through software?
No, it is a manual one. So when you connect it up, each battery is going to have a jumper cable, because that's how it's going to accept that draw and continue to let it keep warming up on a regular basis. So with the solar constantly going in, it's not going to turn on automatically. So meaning if it's not, the internal temperature is not below those degrees, it's not going to be heating itself. It's not going to continuously draw and draw and draw. Only when the internal top temperature drops below that.
Okay, so my Victron battery smart monitor, that's what I need to pay attention to temperature-wise.
You don't need to do
so
anything.
I can come flip the switch.
Yeah. Oh, you're talking about just for turning it on?
Yeah, because I have the smart Victron battery monitor, and it tells me the temperature, and I believe that's what you're talking about. Is then if I know the temperature, I know when I need to go flip the switch, and I can set that alarm on their app.
You can definitely do that. That would be a good little regular basis kind of cycle for you.
Okay.
But to be totally honest with you, if you stand outside and feel the temperatures dropping, you know it's going to keep going, that'd be your time to go flip a switch. I wouldn't say you need to regulate it like you think you do, because even if the battery is below that, you still have down to that -4 for that battery to start heating back up. So even if it's 10 degrees outside and you're like, oh, those batteries are probably starting to get a little cold, go flip that switch, then you'll be totally fine.
So the switch is more of like an auto.
Yep.
I flip the switch and it does its thing.
It does everything for you.
And okay.
Yeah.
So I really don't need to do any of that.
Not at all. Not at all.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
That is awesome.
It's going to do all the hard stuff for you. You're not going to have to need to baby these batteries in any way, shape.
Okay. And then my other question is, obviously I need to add 2 more. Am I able to add 2 more at a later date? Does that hurt the other? Does it mess with anything at all?
We have a good rule of thumb on something like that. We like to say, add them within the first 2 years. Now, for a full timer, you're using these batteries on a really consistent
they're going to get
basis.
worked out.
So I would say, around that 1.5 years, when you do add more batteries to the system, I would make sure you bring each battery to a full state of charge, and then check those voltages before you connect them up, because you want that bank to be nice and balanced when you add them in.
Okay. So just make sure the 4 that I have now are all the way up.
Absolutely.
And then add the other 2 on.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would even throw the other 2 batteries on that solar just to make sure they're getting fully topped off, or at least check the voltages with the voltmeter or something.
Okay. Now I have the 4 now. I have 725 watts that are going to be on the roof.
Perfect.
and then I have 600 watts that will plug into the side as soon as I drill a hole.
Absolutely.
How much solar do I actually need to maintain that 400?
You know, that's a great amount of solar for what you have going on, and even for 6 batteries. So a good rule of thumb is 200 to 250 watts on a decent day of sun is going to get your batteries from completely empty to completely full in one day.
And how many was that?
200 to 250 watts per battery.
Okay.
From empty to full. But chances are you don't have an empty battery every day, especially
Probably
with
not.
that many. But that's just a good rule of thumb, you know, and we're talking 6 to 8 hours. You know, I'm usually going on the lower side of the 6 hours.
Okay. Nice. So even if it's 8 hours, it's not bad.
No,
Now,
that's just giving you extra charge, and you're going to be using that power as the day goes on.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I have solar going into my through my solar chargers into the batteries, and it's 2 separate, one for the outside, one for the roof.
Absolutely.
I also am wiring in a DC to DC while I'm driving.
Okay.
Are there specific specs for your battery that I need to plug into my Victron? And
no,
into the DC to DC charger?
So anything you're getting from us, we're going to give it to you pre-programmed.
Okay.
If you are not a problem. Give us a call. We'll walk through the settings of whatever kind of DC to DC charger. When you are going from a vehicle to a towable, though, you're going to want to make sure to go around your 7-pin connector, do like an Anderson clip. You know, it's that way you get that nice consistent flow coming back on a consistent basis. Other than that, you're good.
Yeah, because that's what I was going to do. I got to run a 30, I got to run a 10 gauge, come back here to an Anderson, and then run so there'll be a second here.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I'm actually rewiring this to 7-pin so I can put brakes on this.
Gotcha.
It's just a safety deal. But
well, I got to say, I'm jealous. And if I stick my thumb out, will you pick me up?
Yeah. Oh yeah. We got one more seat.
That's what I'm
There's only 6 of us at seat 7.
There you go.
We got one more chair. So we really appreciate speaking to Derek and a bunch of the other employees here. They've been very helpful, very knowledgeable. If you need heated batteries and you're like us and you love to winter camp and you just don't want to worry about it at all, these are the batteries you need to get. And from what I understand, any kind of programming, any kind of setup for Victron or any kind of inverters that you have, they have all the specs that you need to know. Definitely reach out to them, and we'll catch you guys during the install.
All right, guys, so we just finished at Battleborn, and I am immensely impressed with them and their company and their new and their people.
I was able to talk to them about our solar situation and exactly what I needed to do that. We got there and I was just hoping that the batteries would be there. With everything else going on our trip,
Everything's been late.
everything has been fun and complicated and delayed. And so we showed up and the batteries were there, which
A
was
day early, mind you.
a huge deal for us, a family of 6.
I wanted to talk about how absolutely impressed I was with them on my end. Jeremy was inside talking to the guy there and learning the stuff that he was in there, but while I was outside, Johnny made a comment that his stomach was feeling upset again. So I was racing to get him back out of the car so that he wouldn't throw up in the car. She was coming up to the window right as this was happening, and I got him out. He did his thing. We got him back in the car. She was really helpful with the other boys, keeping them occupied and entertained while I was trying to take care of Johnny. It was a really good experience.
Really caught off guard by their customer service and their actual interest in us and our story and our boys and talking to our boys, and
it felt like a family company, and they're in this huge warehouse, which is hilarious to me. It felt like we were walking into a mom and pop type setup. I also want to make a note, we do not have an affiliate link with them.
We were just there as customers picking up batteries that we paid full price for, and this is how we were treated. And when a company goes that far, it needs to be said that companies like that still exist.
What do you got on?
This is a battleborn beanie. Dad, unlock the car.
Do you like it?
Yeah.
Is it soft?
It's soft. That's it for us today. We're on to the next adventure.